Hello and welcome to Sheila Lives Out Loud. My name is Sheila Moniga, and I hope you're great, and I hope you had a lovely Valentine's yesterday. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode. Please remember to click subscribe and hit notifications if you haven't already. We put up a show every Monday, and it's always great to hear from you. So drop us a comment in the comment section below. Share this video as well, because it's all good in my hood. And today, my guest, Yanni, I am so excited. I can't even begin to understand why it's taken us so long to have a sit down. And she's got this hot new fire book, which I'm telling you, even your mama has read. Yes. Madam Ciku Muiruri. Hello, honey.
Hello. Hi, my love.
Have I made enough fanfare?
No, keep going.
Just a little bit.
Don't stop now.
This book, Ciku.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Why is it taking us so long to dissect and discuss?
Maybe because we have dissected and discussed things for so many years.
That is so true. That is so true.
Probably all a summary.
I tell you, like I was reading, I was like, this is familiar.
Yeah. That's the interesting thing about Love is But a Dream is that there's a little bit for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Regardless of your age, regardless of your gender. And there's one or two things that I've realized about the book is when you write things at a certain time, the reality of it changes for you after maybe some years. But there was a time in which that was your reality, which means that at this point, it's somebody else's reality.
Yeah.
So it's not a book for a certain time or a certain age. It just keeps going. You know, it changes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like our realities change.
Mm-hmm. So the things which I'm looking back on and I'm thinking, oh, this is so familiar. And then there were stories I was reading and I was just thinking to myself, dear Lord in heaven, I know I mess up sometimes, but please keep me from these perils.
Yeah, but I know what you mean because even as you've written the damn thing, sometimes you go back and read something you wrote and then you find that you are making the mistake that this book is telling you do not make. And you're like, oh my God, I need to listen to my own damn advice.
Now, I follow you online. We follow each other. Apparently, when people like each other, they follow each other online. The first indicators of problems in paradise for any relationship is people unfriend each other, etc., etc. But I always catch up with the comments from, different excerpts that you will post, and I see what people say about it. And the truth of the matter is, this book was a long time overdue. I mean, this was necessary, crucial even. I think it's one of those books that should be part of set books in high schools. What made you write this book, girl?
First of all, it's just because I just felt I really knew the material. I really knew it because I was dealing with these people day in and day out.
Yeah.
Have you read Outliers?
Yes, I have. Malcolm Gladwell, yes.
You remember how Malcolm said that anything you do 10,000 hours of, you're really good at?
Yeah.
I've really done my 10,000 hours and more when it comes to listening to relationships and people's issues.
Right.
And I just thought that there's just a common theme in all the stories that I used to hear. And I thought that it needed just to be put down and people can understand that any situation that you go through in your life is not unique to you. There's so many other people experiencing the exact same thing.
There's some stories in here where I'm not yet there, and that's why I pray to the good Lord above every single day. But I go back to when we kicked off Busted on radio, because it is an extension of the show that was hugely popular. I mean, Ciku, you caused ripples. Even CNN had to look for you, girl. And
I was on CNN International.
Balling, or should we say busting?
Yeah.
But it was an epic show because it really brought to the forefront the real nature of relationships. And for those people who are really getting offended with it, I always used to look at them with a side eye. Like, are we telling your secrets to the world? Are you feeling like at some point it's going to be you who's going to be on that end of hold the line, you know? Because anytime you'd hear Shiko say, okay, 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 hold the line was the marker for gay, gay, gay. Pandemonium is about to land.
You know, it's so funny because like somebody would tell me, I was in the bank today, and then there's a guy behind me who was saying, is this Chico? I know this is Chico busted. And it really wasn't me at that point. But people used to just fear their phones.
I've never seen people get so riled up over an amazing piece of radio history and radio listening, because there's been nothing like it since. One or two people may have copied, but let's just say it for what it is. The drama used to happen at 7:30 with the repeat at 8:30. But what was it like for you? You know, you've talked about being in the bank and then having and listening to people's comments and ideas and is this Chico? Is this Chico? Years after, are people still afraid when they get in touch with you or they meet you in public places? Are they like,
I do some work with all sorts of people from all sorts of walks of life.
Yeah.
And what I found is that people don't try and do shady things with me.
You don't know what's going to happen next.
They just don't. Like, you hear somebody will say something like, is there someone we can deal with, you know, apart from you? And I'm like, what do you mean? But it's my company.
Yes, like, deal with me.
Yeah, deal with me. And they're like, we can't tell this chick we want a bribe. We can't do it.
You got to be above the table, above the board, and be honest and be a straight shooter, because she gonna get you.
Yeah. People actually always think that I'm trying to bust them, even when like it's the last thing on my mind.
Right.
So something that has stayed with me.
Okay. Now, I want to talk about a sequel, because you can't start a fire like this and then gotta be more.
A sequel for this would be good.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking my second book should just go in a completely different direction, and I should do fiction.
Yeah.
And the stories in there and the characters would be so deep, you know, in terms of depth of character, that you would still be able to see yourselves in these characters. So weaving a tale instead of just having like very many tales like I do in Love is But a Dream.
Right.
So I would still be able to bring out a lot of issues that we do have in relationships.
Yeah.
But then it would be more of a drama kind of thriller kind of book. Like I just wanted something fast-paced and something exciting.
Okay, cool. Taking a pause for a second, because we're going to come back to that and the stories from this first copy. Valentine's happened yesterday, and there's some single ladies who were absolutely thrilled that Valentine's was on a Sunday, so they didn't have to go to florist shops to buy themselves flowers. You know, this used to happen. Girl, if I could tell you the number of women who used to buy themselves flowers so they look like they're in our relationships. Meanwhile, hey, it's flowers from self to self by self.
Yeah, but you know, I get that though, because we live in a society where we don't really live for ourselves. We live for others.
Yeah.
So it's more important for how we look to the world than the reality of anything.
Yeah.
So, which means that if you have a man, and he loves you dearly and deeply, and he brought you flowers home at, you know, like assuming Valentine's Day was a Monday, and he's meeting you for dinner or whatever, and he came with this gorgeous bouquet of flowers.
Yeah.
it means that you'd still be mad at him because he didn't send them earlier.
True.
Is that not the same logic?
That's the truth.
Because it's the same damn bouquet. Mm-hmm. And you should just be like, oh my gosh, they're beautiful and thank you. And it's still Valentine's Day. Right. But the flowers weren't for you, were they? They were for everyone else to see.
To see that, look.
That it falls in the forest.
Yes.
And no one was there to see it. Did it fall?
Did it fall? Did it? Did it?
Which means that we're not even in relationships for ourselves. We're in relationships for other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very sad thing. And that is something that people need to reflect upon themselves and just understand that they have issues. And I don't really fault them for having issues, because we all do.
Yeah.
Whether it's relationships, whether it's living in a little shack but driving a very big car, because everyone's gonna see your beautiful car, but
expectations, exactly.
If they came to your gigs, they'll be like, what? This is how you live,
Yeah.
We keep doing things for other people, and a lot of these issues that we have can all be traced back to when we were young. Like there's no issue that can't be traced back to our formative years.
Yeah.
And one thing I would love for everybody to do, if they can, is to just go for therapy. Everybody should go. Because once you start dealing with your issues and finding out who you are as a person and what's important, and understanding the things that you do and why you do them, then you'll stop sending flowers to yourself. Then it won't matter. Then none of this stuff matters anymore, because you'll be like, is it important to me what people think?
Right. If you send yourself flowers, it's because you want to send yourself flowers, not because you want people to see that other people think you're so wonderful and special that they must send you flowers. There's a big difference between the two. But
there is.
Yeah.
Like buying yourself a diamond ring, and putting it on your right hand.
Yeah.
Because you want a diamond ring. You're not going to wait for someone to buy you a diamond ring and so you can be engaged. So you put it on your left finger and say, oh, wow.
Yeah.
If you like rings, buy them for yourself.
I mean, I will tell you this. Many times I'll wear rings on my ring finger and people will say, oh, at last, finally, we're so happy for you. And I say, why? I'm like, but I got that for myself and I like it, especially on this finger. And maybe I've put on a little weight and this is the only finger it can sit on. What is your problem? Stop congratulating me.
Things people notice. And then also, if you're not wearing the ring, that also means then like it's a free for all for anyone to come and
and then start shooting their shots. I mean, no, just no. But love is really a complicated thing. And like you've just said, a lot of the traumas that we face as individuals, as adults later in life, it's simply because of how we've been socialized and what we've learned about everything. And love is one of them. And I think, I don't know if it's because of our patriarchal society where love is even more mangled in meaning, especially for women. And I know you've spoken to therapy, Ciku, but most Kenyans I know, you say unaenda therapy for head issues, they'll write you off. It's a problem. There's something wrong.
It is a problem, but that's why it's important for me to try and change that perspective one day at a time.
Yeah.
Because it's really not about therapy. Is not about, maybe we've been using the word therapy is a problem. Maybe we should just say just talking to somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Doesn't sound as challenging.
Yeah. Getting someone to just sit down and listen to you.
Yeah.
And somebody who's not going to judge you, and somebody who's going to keep all the things that you say to them confidential. We honestly need that. Everybody needs it, because I feel like mental health is like the way people say that they're going to the gym.
Yeah.
And they really, 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 really spend a lot of time working on their bodies and watching what they eat and that kind of thing. But it's amazing to me that they completely ignore mental health, which is 1,000,000 times more important than, going to work out and running a marathon.
Yeah.
Because if things are not okay up here, my dear, you got nothing.
That's true. That's true. And this is where, a lot of the decisions that you make, which will influence your future, which will change your fortunes, which will direct what you do with the next generation. A lot of that is what happens with your mental space. And we've been trapped indoors for 1 year already due to the coronavirus and the pandemic. And we've seen the impact that that's had on not just romantic relationships, but even just the way parents and children relate to each other. We can all see there's been a breakdown when it comes to, this is my child. There are even issues at home in how we relate to each other. What's been your experience, and what have you got to say about some of those friction moments, and some of them even made news for all the wrong reasons?
Well, like people hacking their parents to death.
Yeah. Man, and then say it's a TV show. Like, no. I think he already knew he was going to do it. I mean, I have watched shows. I like Dexter. At no point did I decide I'm going to go and start hacking people I don't like.
People have hacked their parents to death before. It's just that now we have social media.
Mm-hmm.
So things like this spread quicker and faster.
Yeah.
And it's more horrifying to us because we can be able to see many people are doing this. But I feel like it's always happened. There always been some crazy people out there. And I feel like I did talk about therapy.
Yeah.
In terms of, how any ordinary person can go and have their issues looked at, because we all have day-to-day issues going on.
That's true.
But you realize that there are people who actually have deeper clinical mental health issues, and they need to be, taken care of by a psychiatrist. They need medication. There are things that are going on in people's lives.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we had normalized mental health in the first place, or seeking mental health issues, a kid like this would have been, somebody would have picked up that there's something up. You know what I mean? Maybe
there were markers along the way.
There has to be someone, even his girlfriend at some point.
Yeah.
Didn't think maybe my boy, if he is not very salsa in his kyongos, there's some things that he's saying that are a bit.
There are always red flags here popping up along the way. Yeah.
There's always something. There's signs. People just don't wake up one day and hack their families to death. I don't think that's a possibility. So it's in our interests, even as a society, to actually normalize people having conversations about whatever that they're going through. You really need to figure it out. Me personally, I don't subscribe to being around people who are bad for your spirit and for peace of mind. I really don't subscribe to the theory that just because you're related, you have to nangana with each other till death. That's rubbish. If somebody is not good for you and you feel that when you're around them, you're not in the right mental state, then I think
there's no point being around them. And I think those were some of the reasons that made our friendship grow, because it was very clear the people you can get along with, the people you can't get along with. None of us saw the sense in wasting time in situations or pushing for certain things in spaces where the energy was always wrong.
Thank you.
That. Yeah.
I like that. Pushing.
Yeah.
Forcing. That's what it is. Yeah. Things are supposed to flow easily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a mistake we make as humans, is we force, whether it's a bad relationship where you're this guy is not being what you need him to be for you, but you're still forcing and you're like, no, I have to make this work. Or whether it's a friendship and you're forcing it.
Yeah.
Whether it's a relationship with a relative.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you guys are supposed to be together, it flows.
Yeah, it does. Like a river, it just, although maybe that's not the right analogy, because also rivers have a tendency to be a bit chaotic too, and they push everything along the way.
Rivers rivers follow their course and they go exactly where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
They follow, regardless of what's happening, regardless of whether we're trying to come up with man-made ways of trying to
will still
in different directions. It goes where it's meant to go. And that's the analogy we need for our lives as well. Like we need to stop forcing energy issues and just let our energies take us where we're supposed to go.
Okay. Being a woman in today's Kenya, a lot has changed from when we got started on air. A lot has happened. The media landscape is sometimes totally alien to me when I switch on the radio and I listen to all sorts of different things and I keep, flipping stations. What do you think? Has it evolved? Has it stepped up? Has media, let's be more specific, has radio stepped up? Or is there a problem on air?
Find out what Ciku thinks about that, plus the chapter in her brilliant book, Love is But a Dream, that was inspired by a conversation that we both had together over somebody that she liked. Honey, you're gonna love this one, and I think you're gonna need your rellas for it as well. Catch up with me in part 2 of Love is But a Dream.